Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave Lego the Scythe emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you're not a subscriber, you can just say hi. You can use other emotes. We are in the intro portion of the stream, the hangout zone, our chill spot, as it were. We're waiting for a few more folks to join us before we get going. Julie's here. Hi, Julie. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, this seems like it might be a light Saturday, or it might just take a few hot minutes for people to get here. And I was hoping a few folks would come for the first stream where I am using my new snipper clips. That's right, folks. I've got myself a pair of God hands. Now, you want to call it God hands. I want to call them God hands. But they're God hand. They're God hand. These are incredibly small snipper clips. They're wonderful. Hey, Words Maybe, welcome, welcome. Howdy to you. Just for comparison, these are the clippers I've been using. They are wire cutters. They are sturdy. They were inexpensive. We'll go to the overhead when it's time for that. But these are different sizes. If you're unfamiliar with the God Hand, hey Jam, welcome. The God Hand snipper clips. It even says God Hand on it. Harold is now hosting the stream. Thank you, Harold. Appreciate that very much. The God Hand clippers here. These are the single blade variety. Nice God Hand. Thank you, Jam. They are not the premium, most expensive version of this. This is one step down from that. Now, why did I not do, if I was already going to spend the money, which I did, I spent the money on these clippers. Why wouldn't I get the most expensive version? Well, in fact, those are very delicate. And those particular clippers, the very best God hands you can get, you actually don't want to use those for removing pieces off of your sheet. You actually want to use them. Hey, Lastbrick, welcome. The most expensive version of God hands, you really want to use other clippers to remove the piece, and then those are for doing fine, like nubbin removal. And that's not going to work for us. I can't, while building, use two different snippers. Want to see how well these work? Well, Jim, we're going to get to that because we are going to use them now. For those wondering, and of course we'll get into the tutorial a bit as we go. These are a single blade. So whereas the basic idea with these is our clippers here we are squeezing the plastic to separate it. We're not cutting through the plastic. We're literally crushing the plastic to remove it. This has one blade, so it is a single blade. So we are going to be pressing metal against a blade to then cut through the plastic. Now, you run into some trouble there when you do that. We'll go to the overhead in just a minute. We're going to use these as an example. Now, sometimes what is happening is, with this, is you're going to end up with, even though you're cutting it, you're still going to end up with a discoloration of the plastic, depending on what plastic is, and depending on how thick the connecting piece is on your sheet to the actual piece of plastic that you want to remove. So there's a technique involved. I'm going to retweet my tweet. We'll go to the overhead, and we'll talk a little bit about that right now as we get into it. Let me just check this real quick. Great. So let's go to the overhead of the Windam, which is what we're working on right now. So you got the thing here. And again, size comparison. These are the clippers I've been using this whole time, or since I replaced my original pair. And then these are the God Hand. So you can see, very different. Now, if we were removing, let's say normally what I do is I'm going to take this here. We're going to use these because they're the beam sabers, and that's a perfectly fine place to practice, right? I'm going to remove this here. I'm going to be snipping this. I'm snipping that like I'm snipping a wire, but I am pressing these two sharp edges together and kind of crushing them in. Now, you're not going to see this on this discoloration too much here, but there is a slight discoloration where I made the cut. Like I said, it's not going to be that noticeable. But in some colored plastic, it's very noticeable. Now, God Hand. what I'm actually going to do is I am not going to cut here right flush up against the piece that I'm going to be cutting. I'm going to cut a little lower, leaving a nubbin, which is counterintuitive, but there is a technique to this. So the other way I can do this is I can go in from the underside of it and cut there, which will leave some extra material. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the other side method. You can also just leave a little gap. When I get used to these, I will just start using a gap. But until then, I'm going to do the underside. So we did this from the underside. And since we cut this way, we are going to go perpendicular with it this way. And we are going to do one more cut perpendicular. And that shouldn't leave any discoloration and our nubbin, and we should have a nice clean cut. You're going to have a little bit of a sign. You could buff this out, but this is definitely way cleaner than previous methods. And the goal basically is you have a lot of control with these snippers. You're going to get a nice flush cut with them. And this method that I've just described should mean that you don't see any discoloration. This is particularly going to be helpful for older kits. Like I have a kit from the year, I think it's 2006 that I have in my collection right now. My backlog, the Strike Noir, I believe is an early 2000s, if to mid 2000s kit. Those plastics are going to, not only are they old, but also that is from an era where some of those plastics are pretty brittle. Hey, John Robert, welcome, welcome. I'm showing off my new, this is, also I should say, the most expensive piece of gear that I have purchased for this stream. It is slightly more expensive than my headset, which was in the $40 range. This was in the $50 range. So this is the most expensive piece of gear that I have ever purchased for this stream. But yeah, our God Hands are going to give us a lot more control. We are going to hopefully, also they're small, so they should be easier to get when working with high grade and working with small pieces. Should be very easy to get in there. And we will be, using our cutting method that I've described throughout. And the hope is, that we're not causing discoloration, that we're not causing any kind of separation there, that we're getting nice clean cuts. Sorry, in buffer hell, was there a nubbin left? So, Jam, you're in buffer hell. I apologize. Sorry to hear that. We'll do it with another piece. So, we're actually going to be leaving a bit of a nubbin on each original cut and then the subsequent cut. So we're going to make two cuts. So it will be a little slower, but I will get into a rhythm of it as I do it. But I'll show you again. I will just take a piece off this. I'll take this piece off here and show you there. So normal snipper clips, I would be going in like this, right? I'd be trying to get as flush as possible. The problem with doing that with a single blade is I run the risk of causing discoloration with the plastic. So instead, I'm going to flip it over and go like this. So I'm going to be cutting away from it, leaving a bit of a nubbin. There won't be that much, but there will be some nubbin. So there'll be a little bit of extra nubbin on both of these pieces. So we'll hit it like that. Yeah. So we get a little bit of a nubbin, and we will do that here. Again, we're going to cause a little bit of a nubbin on two sides of this. Now, nubbin, indeed. I'm saying nubbin a lot. Detritus, dangler, extra, stub. There are various words for it. Now, since we cut like this the first way, we are going to go perpendicular. Or sorry, yes, we went cut this way, so we're going to cut like this, so that we're perpendicular, and we're going to give it one little snip, and you're going to see a little bit of discoloration there. You're still going to get that, but it's going to be a cleaner cut than with the previous methods that I have incorporated. And that one is far less. So there's still going to be a little bit of discoloration. Unfortunately, that is unfortunately just the reality. But the most expensive version of these are incredibly fragile. Like, they don't like to be used, and I can't buy something expensive that is fragile. I need something that is going to be a bit of a workhorse. But yeah, because even like there's like little nubbins on this kit from previous things. Basically, I'm trying to save myself from having to use a file and like file things out or buff things at all. Like I'm just trying to save myself that trouble, and these will do it. So I'm very excited. They feel great. They cut really well. So I'm very excited to be using those. And let's get into building. Let's start working on our our thing. So we are gonna need these because we're gonna work on the shoulders here. So this is the Windam, the gun from Gundam Seed. It is based on a Gundam, but it is not a Gundam. It is a mass-produced mobile suit. So it does not contain any Gundanium. It just looks like a Gundam. Um, and it is the most Gundam-ass not Gundam I have ever seen. Because you look at this thing and you're just like, hey, that's a Gundam. Wait, isn't that a Gundam? I've been using a glass file along with a Razer brand buffer. Uh, Leaves a nice clean finish. Yes, I have, like, look, if I was going to be doing model kits for display, right, I wouldn't do the quick and dirty marker method. I wouldn't use clippers like this. I would separate, I would remove with an X-Acto knife outside of the nubbin. I would file things down. I'd buff things. I would put a clear coat over stickers to keep the stickers adhered. There's a lot of things I would do for if I was doing this for display. But since I am doing this for seeing kits and going through the process of model kits and the ups and downs of doing it, and being an entertainer who is an enthusiast about the product what I'm showcasing, I have made the decision. Good evening, Dirty. There are steps that I would definitely take if I was doing this for for use outside of streams. All right, so we're just going to pull these pieces out here using the reverse method of our blade here, getting nubbins, giving us some nubbins. Does this take longer than the regular method? It certainly does. Will its results be far superior? I believe so. Also, it's just about having control. The same way that like I loosened the spring in these wire cutters. I went about making it so that there was a lot of give to them. These have a good amount, like a lovely amount of give, which is what I'm definitely looking for in my tools. All right, so we're gonna have there, and then we're gonna just go and we're gonna hit this real close next to it. Just kind of knock that off and hit the nubbin there. And yeah, looks good. I hope everyone's doing well on this Saturday evening. I'm excited to have a fun stream time with all of you. I did, in my promotion tonight, say that it was Wednesday. I do not know why I thought it was Wednesday for a second. I don't think I thought it was Wednesday, but I definitely did tweet that it was Wednesday. And as you are well aware, it's not. So I don't quite know where that came from. I did think that Thursday, sometimes I'll go like, oh, I don't have a stream tonight because I thought Thursday was Friday. But then I'd be like, no, it's definitely Thursday. So I don't know. Everything's weird and nothing makes any sense. Welcome, Star Plays. And, hope you enjoy a model kit building stream because that's what you're getting. To folks that are new, to folks that are returning, that is what we're doing here tonight, is working on a model kit. Now, Gundam Seed is not like, I'll say this. I think I like Gundam Seed Destiny, the sequel series, better than many people who, for some reason, decided it was terrible. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think Gundam Seed is terrible. I think Gundam Seed is too obvious an attempt to recapture the magic of the original Gundam series. I think like it was very clear that's what they were trying to do, and I think they did a poor job of doing that. So I will say that. But as far as anything else, like it's still a good series, good Gundams, decent enough story. Like I'm still a fan of it. and I would say Gundam Seed Destiny, the sequel, is better than people give it credit for. But, that's just my opinion. Some people really never clicked with them. But as I said, I do like how clearly this kit is just like clearly based on a Gundam, and they instead of like the Leo or the Zegok or something, it's just like, no, this is we made a bunch of mobile suits that look like a Gundam. But imagine you didn't know this wasn't a Gundam, and you saw like 15 of them. It ain't no 8th MS team. Well, not many things are 8th MS team. That is beautiful series. It's wonderfully done. Yeah, most Gundam shows aren't 8th MS team. So you're not wrong there. But yeah, imagine just seeing like a fleet of these things come in. That would be very, very scary. Um, let's see. What else was I gonna say? As I continue to work here, real quick, I'll talk about this probably a lot. I am taking part in the Plastic Model Weekender, which is a fundraiser for the charity stream for the Cure Alzheimer Fund. And that takes place April 16th through the 18th. I will be doing a stream sometime that weekend on twitch.tv/Plamo Weekender. Please join me for that. I will be talking more about that as it goes. I will, of course, host that stream on this channel. So if you just want to chat amongst yourselves and not the larger crew, you're more than welcome to. But there will be things that you can win by donating. And that'll be a good time, and we'll raise some money for a charity. I am one of, I believe, 21 people streaming that weekend. I will be doing a 3-hour block that weekend with many other streamers, all of whom are model kit streamers. Not everyone is doing Gundam. In fact, I think a lot of people are at this point are doing other things because there hasn't been a lot of there's only been like 3 things that have come out in 2021. So Gundam is definitely in a weird period. So I think a bunch of people are doing other projects, other model kits, which is cool. I will be doing a kit that came out last year that I am very excited about doing. That is a very odd looking kit, but I should be able to complete it in 3 hours if I don't mess around too much and I don't panel line it until the end. So if I just focus on building and fundraising, I should be able to do it in 3 hours. Also, I said this to them, but I want to give a shout out to my $10 patrons over at patreon.com/PatBear because if you don't know this, my $10 patrons get to decide what I build for my backlog when I'm like, oh, I'm going to finish this at a certain time. Like, I will finish this sometime on Monday. I don't know when on Monday I'll finish this, but sometime on Monday I expect to finish this kit. So when I finish that kit, it'll be time to start the next one. And I have my backlog, and so I was like, hey, what should I build next? Pick amongst these. And I honestly thought that they were going to pick the Penelope. The Penelope is the biggest box I've ever seen for a high grade. It is a whole ass Gundam with a giant flight system on top of it. And this is what it looks like. Like, there's a Gundam, and then there's a bunch of other stuff on top of it. And I was like, that's definitely going to win, right? And it didn't. What won was this Haro with sword hands. And saying that out loud, oh, the thing with sword hands, one makes sense. But, like, I bought this thing cost me like $70. And it's a huge box and a giant mobile suit. It's a high grade that comes with a stand. It comes with its own stand. And they were like, no, build this next. I was like, okay. I will, but okay. It is a cute ball. You're not wrong. It's a wrist fan, also high wrist fan. It's gonna be great to build. I'm looking forward to putting it together. But I was just like, really, y'all? Come on. All right, fine. Um, you doubted the people's loves, the Zaccarello. Elastic, I didn't doubt it. I was surprised that the cool big model kit didn't win. Uh, perhaps something that you at home wouldn't purchase for yourself. But I made the call to do it. Uh, so I got my HDMI to RCA converter. Lashbrook has been working on this, right? Yes. And after a bit of a panic trying to find a composite cable, I rediscovered you can use component cables to pass the connection. Yes, you can. You certainly could do that. And it's just real dumb having my switch connected to a CRT. It is, yeah. Yeah. So, RCA, composite and component are the same. Composite is just, it's basically like, the yellow cable is just, they just split it to red, blue, green. It's just 3 cables instead of 1 cable. It's obviously better, but here's the trick about RCA. You can just use any of those. You could get 3 yellow cables and plug those into your audio, your red and white, and then you're also that. You can just do that. And in fact, there are adapters, the headphone jack adapter that goes out to RCA. Did you know that's how you could output video on a clamshell MacBook? The original Macs that were clamshells didn't have an S-video out. The very first ones just had the headphone jack, but that was also a video out. You just get an adapter like you would for a digital camera, and you get an RCA signal out of that before they had S-video and RCA. Because yeah, that's just a video signal. It's just a video signal. Trying to get laptops to output photo and video, if anything, was really fun in the early 2000s. I learned a lot of just being like, someone would hand me a laptop and be like, hey, here you go. And you'd be like, does it have outs? Does this thing have, what does this have? I have an S-video to RCA dongle for this MacBook 17-inch MacBook that thankfully has S-video out, because that's the only thing I can do, because I also have a VCR that has S-video and RCA outs that I can route TVs through. I've definitely said this out loud. Oh, we're gonna panel line this real quick. I've definitely said this out loud, and I might have said it on stream, but way back in the day, a friend of mine was like, hey, I made some Flash animations, and we want to show them in our comedy show. And I was like, cool. Can you get those Flash animations on a VCR? Can you get them on a VHS tape? Because that is how we will be able to do this. Because it's 2004, and DVD burners are a thing, but nobody's got them. No one's making them. We have a VCR at this theater. Can you get it on a VCR? And he was like, I have not thought of how to do that. And I was like, I'm very sorry. That's all we got right now. So what he did was he took his Flash animations, and he put them on some sort of drive of some sort of drive. I don't know what. And he plugged them into his modded Xbox, original Xbox, his original modded Xbox, which allowed him to load off of a hard drive. And then he set up his VCR to record what was on his television, and hit record, and then press play on the Flash animations, so that he could play the flash animations and record those on a VHS tape, which he then handed to me. And that is how really crudely but fantastically funny little animations of a character named Math Dragon, the dragon who's bad at math, were shown at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. Eventually, we got a computer that could display that, and we ran stuff so that we could run a computer to the projector. But originally, we had a VCR. I mean, before we had a projector, we had two televisions, and I ran coax cable to those two televisions. And then this was, I will say, this was ingenious. So we had two TVs, right? They would sit on stage. Well, you didn't want the TVs on during the show, except for when you were going to show video. So what was our solution? What was our grand plan? I ran the power cables through extension cord to the two televisions all the way back into the tech booth to a power strip, which I would turn on when I wanted the TVs to come on, and the TVs would come on, and then I would hit play on the VCR and they would show stuff. Because otherwise there would be like static or a blue screen or something. They wouldn't just be a black screen. And then eventually when we got high def televisions, we got a black burst, which there's no reason for you to know anything about a black burst. It is just a little tiny box that sends a black image constantly. And so I had a signal splitter or switcher, I should say, and I would switch to the black burst when I didn't want to send the DVD player or the computer to the televisions and the projector. And that was that solution. But before that, before we had the TVs, we just had the projector. We didn't have the black burst, so there was a card that would sit, like a card that would fold over the projector to block the screen. So the projector would be here, and the card would flip up and down. And then so someone in the cast would have to go and flip the card up so that they could project the image so that you could preview what was going to be shown in the tech booth. We solved a lot of problems because we didn't have the money. We couldn't just throw money at it, right? Like a black burst that we eventually got existed for a very long time, and I even knew about them, but I still couldn't afford. I could say like, hey, this is the thing I really need, and then people would just be like, yeah, we're not going to buy that. Figure out another way to do that, and that's what you would do, and that's why I have a lot of knowledge about things that will never be applicable again in my life. I just have this vast knowledge of like ways to make things work that will never benefit me anymore because it doesn't matter. But it does mean what I do have going for me is when things don't work, like I don't freak out about it. I just go, okay, this isn't working. Let me think about all the reasons why it's not working, narrow them down, solve every problem as fast as possible, and get this done. Like, I'm pressing play on the computer for audio, and in the house, there is no audio. Well, that's one of 6 things that could be happening. It could be that the audio is low or muted on the computer. Okay, it's not that. Are the amps on? They are. Is the soundboard on? It is. Is audio going through the soundboard? It is. Can I hear audio in the house from another device outside the computer? I can. Is the computer cable, the audio cable that goes from the computer to the mixer, actually making that connection? It's not. It got unplugged. That's the solution to the problem. Great, let me plug that in. Or it is plugged in. Is that cable working? Can I hot swap it with my iPad or iPhone or iPad and see if that was working? Okay, now that's working. Like those things, all of those solutions that I just mentioned for audio is not coming out of this thing like it's supposed to, I got to the point where in my life as a audio and video and theater tech, I got to the point where I could do that almost instantaneously. I could just be like, okay, here's this next thing, here's this next thing, here's this next thing. Uh, because I got very good at doing it, because I did it for a very long time. That you could start to understand, like, okay, oh, is it this? Okay, here's generally the thing that happened is somebody else was sitting on the computer and turned the audio down, or they muted the channel on the soundboard, and you don't do that. The tech person doesn't do that, so you're not expecting that to be a thing that's happening. Uh, or the cable finally went, or the cable got unplugged because somebody moved the computer at some point, or they took the cable, because sometimes people in the fucking bar at the theater wanted to play music and their audio cables were gone, so they would come into my fucking tech booth and take my cables. Like I didn't label them with a Sharpie and tape. Like I wasn't going to find out you stole one of my cables. Oh. I would label them in multiple places. I would label them with tape and my handwriting, and then I would also get a silver Sharpie to put my initials on it as well. Like, oh, cable thieves think they can pull one over on Pat Baer. I thought wrong. I will get fucked over in a lot of ways, but I would never let that slide. Never. I was always going to track down my cables. It's important. Oh, I talked about this on Thursday, and I guess it's a good time to kind of give a little refresher here. I have changed around channel points a little bit. The 600 level, 600 channel points is still the soundboard, the little physical soundboard that I got as a Christmas present 2 years ago. It's still 600. The 1,000 channel points level is that I will, for the time being, use a random digital. Every stream, I will find a new random digital soundboard, and I will use that for that level, because the original 1,000 channel points was an object that I got because my roommate moved out and I inherited it. And on Wednesday, I certainly just was like, nah, I don't feel like using this anymore, and I'm retiring it. Now, this is temporary. The digital soundboard is temporary. The analog soundboard will stay. The digital soundboard is going to be replaced by a new object that doesn't make me feel bad. And that will arrive, I believe, for Wednesday's stream, for my anime stream, because that is what Wednesday is going to be. Wednesday's bonus stream is Pat Baer's Anime Club, where I am doing my wrap-up of the winter anime season and a preview of the spring anime season that is starting up in April. And I will have a new physical object that I will hold near the microphone and make a lot of noise, and hopefully you will like it. It is an object that does make noise and will hopefully not make me feel a little icky about its use. So there we go. That's what that is. But yeah, I did want to put that out there. I do have a soundboard. If you want to use your channel points tonight, I will play a random tune from selection from the digital soundboard that I hope you enjoy. Your mom gave you that soundboard, so it should be the coolest thing you ever owned. Yes, this analog soundboard that I just danced across the build area, this was purchased by my mom and put in my stocking for Christmas, and I do appreciate it. And it predated the channel points, and I was just using it for the applause, and then it happened that channel points were a thing, and I was like, channel points are a thing. I'm going to use this in my channel points. That's very fun. Okay, random digital soundboard from Dirty. I'm going to clip out this piece and then I'm going to do it. So get ready for that. For the random digital soundboard, here is a sound from that soundboard. And I'm going to go with...
Hooray! I'm useful!
Great. Dr. Zoidberg. Thank you, Dr. Zoidberg. Thank you, Dirty. And thank you, Dr. Zoidberg. When I say random, I mean that I'm not like I've just picked like kind of at random a soundboard and like previewed it, made sure that there wasn't if there is anything that I feel like I don't want to include this, that I can not choose to click on it. But that is kind of what I mean by random, more than just like that's kind of weird. Rest in peace. Yes, indeed, Dirty. That that uh, thing that prop that was purchased for a sketch comedy bit that I never saw, that was left in my apartment by my former roommate when he moved out, that I was like, I am going to use this. That is definitely been retired. It is retired um, because while I do not think necessarily that it is a hurtful thing to exist, I felt a little weird about it on Wednesday when I thought, oh, I hope nobody hits that. And I don't want to think about that when it comes to channel points, because you earn those channel points by watching the streams. And I certainly wouldn't want someone's first stream if that was something they saw and they had to have even a moment of feeling bad about it. That would make me feel bad, and I don't want to feel bad about that stuff. So, in that way, I want to be angry and upset for people. I don't want to be bummed out that I've bummed people out. So instead, we're not going to do it anymore. And that's that. That's just how we're going to vibe about that. Hit this with it. We got to build the hands here. These arms coming together nice and easy, as I was expecting. There. But yeah, I had pizza for dinner, and I am feeling it. I am definitely feeling like, oof, I definitely had pizza. To change the subject in a completely different direction, because that's what we do here sometimes. I'm definitely heavy on the pizza, but the nice thing is it's good, because that has not always been the case in the South. As a pizza snob, don't always get great pizza, but hey, the people that make it, the person was originally from Connecticut and worked at a great pizza place that I've been to in Connecticut, so that made me feel real good about that. Thanks for the Mashy tweet the other day. I'm now caught up to the translations. Yeah, Dirty brings up an anime, Mashal, Mashley, Mashal, Mashal, I think. The main character's name Mash. Hey, here's the premise, basically. Magic is the most important thing in a mythical world. And it's tied into class and how well you'll do. Like how much magic potential you have at the beginning of your life sets the stage for you. So when a guy who never really had a lot of magic but had some magic, as an old man, a sad old man, he finds a abandoned kid who has no magic potential, no magic ability at all, he names Mash. He decides, I'm going to raise this kid in secret. And he's basically One Punch Man if One Punch Man went to a magic academy. And it's good. It is, the humor is sometimes I'm like, okay. But for the most part, I think it's very fun. And I think he's great. And it's just like very fun. And just like like most of the way he solves his problems are just being like, well, I still could punch you really hard. Yeah, one spell ombre. But also hi Ghost. Basically his counter is just that, like, most magic users at the level that he is dealing with at the school, well, one, they're all highfalutin and have lived a life of privilege, so they're because they've had all this magic, so they're not used to dealing with anyone that like questions them or doesn't like immediately bow to them. And two, he's incredibly strong. So like he can take a hit, he can take your magic blast, no problem. He can dodge them, he can throw things. And also, You are very good at magic, but you probably don't anticipate a punch to the face by a strong man. And it's pretty great. Uh, yes, he also basically he also has MASH has a lot of uh, that basically that one panel in One Punch Man that makes the rounds on the internet every now and again. It's a reaction panel that just is him deadpanned, Saitama deadpan, and it just says okay. To me, what if that comic? What if that image was a whole comic? Is this series that's just like okay? You have said a bunch of things, and now we fight. I am not impressed by whatever you are putting out there, and I am not scared of you. Let's go. It's very fun. Uh, yeah, I've been super into it. Uh, it's on. I've been watching. I've been reading it. I should say. Ooh, am I reading it on Viz or am I reading it on Shonen Jump? I can't remember. I subscribe to both, so I can't remember. But I feel like it's on one of those, and sorry that I don't remember which one. But it is on one of them. Too many big words. Yes. Yeah, but he doesn't like complex stuff. He's just a good boy. And look, is his motivation to change society for the better? Kind of. But his main motivation is just like, a dude said if I did this, that my grandpa would be okay. And my grandpa is the person in this world who is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And then also, now that I'm in this school, I have made friends and I have made like people that I want to like be together with. So working hard at this means I can continue to be with these people. It's like he finds more of a purpose, but even the original purpose of just like, hey, I'm going to work hard so that I can like be with people that I like it's good stuff. It's just good stuff. A lot of heart in the show. Goofy in a way that I like. Um, Speaking of reading some manga, like this show, I don't know if it's gotten picked up. I don't think it has. Um, I could see it. I definitely could see it getting picked up in the future. A show that I was reading that I kind of took a pause on because I'm way ahead of wherever the anime is going to be in one season is a chill isekai coming out next season that I am interested in. Which premises is that it's an isekai, so girl dies. She's a workaholic. She worked too much. She gets granted a wish, which is I would like to be immortal, so that I can have a lot of leisure time. And she is granted that, and then through circumstances, in the span of 300 years, she becomes the most powerful, strongest human, witch, but also just pretty much maybe the strongest creature on the entire planet that she lives on. Um, and then word gets out, which spreads a lot of stuff and a lot of forward momentum. If you're like, oh, okay, I've seen this isekai before, it definitely goes in a direction that I wasn't expecting, which is it is just mostly a chill anime about the ladies who flock to this pretty nice witch who's very strong, but basically doesn't want to like be an adventurer, or be well known. Just kind of want to have a nice life and enjoy her reincarnation. And then yeah, is there a dragon lady? Yes, there's a dragon. There's a dragon, a lady dragon who turns into a lady. Uh, there is are there cute young people that consider her to be their mother? Yes, that is true. Is there a boozy, pretty dang horny elf? Yes, there is. Is she the character I like the least? You're right. Do I much more enjoy the kind of snotty, kind of rebellious, but mostly just like pretty psyched about what's going on, Teen Ghost? Hell yeah, I love the Teen Ghost. She's awesome. Uh, Oh, also, is there a demon who doesn't live with them, but definitely would if she had the time? Yes, there's a demon lady. Beelzebub's in it, and she's great. Uh, I would say the biggest problem with uh, I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out or whatever it's called. It's because it's an isekai, it's a light novel title. Um, the problem with it is that it is very clearly uh, is that demon's name Belts? Yup. Yes. It is very clearly not gay enough. Like this story, if you looked at the characters, you look at every character who's in it, you look at the relationship between them, you were like, "Oh, this is a very gay show." And it is, but it needs to be way gayer for what it cuz it honestly feels like queer baiting and pandering more than it feels like an interesting exploration. Like it's very clear that a couple characters are in love with the witch. But like, is that going to go anywhere other than jokes? I don't think it is. I think it's only going to be jokes. So I am a little bummed by that as I've further read it. Um, Sakamoto Days and Kaju 8. Yes. Kaju 8 I have heard good things about. I have not heard anything about Sakamoto Days, but I will investigate. I tried to read that the I don't know the sneaky. There's some anime or sorry manga about a samurai, and I wanted to give it a shot, but it feels like a little too historical for my taste. So I bounced off that pretty quickly. The idea that there's like the first samurai to like run away and just be like, hey, you know what? What if I wasn't here for this shit? What if I ran away? And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to read that. But I've been trying to read a little bit more manga because I fucking got time, y'all. And is it staring at a different screen than my computer screen? Certainly, it is not this. It is. It's just staring at a different screen, but it is a different thing, and it is something I can do that is not in this bedroom without taking my computer anywhere. Because I just take my iPad Mini, which still works somehow after all these years, and does a great job of getting me where letting me read stuff sitting on a porch or sitting on my bed or sitting in the living room. So I'm kind of doing that. But I do want to expand out, read a few other things. That one just kind of appealed to me. I like the premise of it a lot. The only strong man in a world of strong wizards. Uh, Emperor and I in the archive, says Lashbrook. Okay, Emperor and I. All right, I will check that out. Do not know about that show. I have no knowledge about it. We are almost done with our arms. We're going to finish this arm up here. And then after that, we will probably be ready for our pause for the cause, where I'll talk about ways you can support the channel if that's something you wanted to do. And then we'll also get back to building this kit, which is it's just I haven't had to say much about this kit. It's going together smooth. I've been very pleased with these God Hand, and I should. I shouldn't have any issue with the God Hand snippers. I just have to try not to say God Hands because I learned them as God Hands a long time ago, but they are the God Hand. But they are just smooth. This is a smooth, like hot knife through butter action, and I'm very pleased with them. I mean, for the money that I spent on them, I would hope that I was pleased with them, but you never know. Being expensive isn't certainly not a guarantee of quality by any stretch of the imagination, obviously. But I mean, they're so highly regarded that I was definitely interested in them. But yeah, really separates plastic from the sheet in a really nice way. So far, pretty interested or pretty excited about these snippers. All right, and the top of our Windam is done. As I said before, this is a Windam. It is a one letter away from being the name of a professional wrestler, Barry Windham, but it is not that Windham, which is a bummer because there's not an H. It would be great if there was a mobile suit that also shared a name of a professional wrestler. That would just be good. Because I mean, it would it doesn't have to be great, but that would be pretty funny. All right, we're gonna work on the feet because you can work on the feet at the same time. So why not work on those feet? And we could do them two at a time, and we'll get the first pieces out before we take our pause for the cause. But that's coming up. Pause for the cause is coming up. And then talking about anime that came out last couple of days, doing that stuff. Trying to find another manga about a guy who has zero magic in a world of magic, but he thinks he can use magic, like his wind strike is him swinging his sword so fast. Is that a manga that exists, or is that a manga you would like to see dirty? Because it says has to be trying to find another manga about a guy. So there is a manga that exists out there somewhere about someone who believes they are using magic, but they are just very strong, and everything is a coincidence. Because that does sound pretty fun. That feels like it could get old, but that is like a fun premise. I don't know if that's a ongoing series premise that I would be like, I can't wait for the next issue of that. That is one that exists. I couldn't remember what it was called when I swapped reader sites. Ah, yeah. That'll be something that like someday someone's going to mention the name of or like post an animated GIF. And that's in my could be Goku thing that's happening is occasionally I post a character in the silly Twitter that I have of characters that could be Goku. And I have had a couple of people be like, Zatch Bell! And they're like, that's the name of the show? Because they would remember like a bit, like a piece of it, but they didn't remember enough of it. And suddenly I have just like triggered memories for them. And that makes me very happy. Because I'm trying to not just do modern anime, I'm trying to do obscure stuff. I mean, it needs to have an animated GIF that I can easily access because I want them to be GIFs because I think that's more fun than just photos. I got the USA GS single-bladed nippers. Oh, USA Gundam store. And they kind of got sucked into Valheim and other video games and have barely used them. Yeah, Lashbrook, that happens. I mean, look, I build a lot of model kits because of these streams. I don't know if I would build all these model kits. And I would build as many model kits as I do if I wasn't doing this, for the streaming 6 hours a week. Like, yeah, I don't think I would spend 6 hours a week on model kits. Maybe I would. But I would very much be hot and cold on them, right? But I've heard very good things about those single blade. I mean, this is a single blade that I've got here. I've heard good things about those. But I decided, look, if I was going to spend a lot of money on clips, on snipper clips, that I was going to get God Hand, because there at least once in my life wanted to own God Hand snipper clips. And I was already spending $70 on a model kit that my $10 patrons decided they didn't want to see me build yet. They wanted to see me build a knife-holding Haro, which I get, and I understand. I mean, I bought it because I want to build it because it's a cool-looking little Haro, but shaky fist. Anyway, we're going to take a pause for the cause, folks. I'm going to drink water before we even get started because I'm just feeling it. I need it. So, if you're new to the channel, what's happening now is I'm going to take a couple minutes to talk to you about ways you can support what I do. And first and foremost, I should say this. Again, I'll be talking about this a lot as we go. April 16th through the 18th, I will be taking part in the Plastic Model Weekender at Plamo Weekender Twitch channel. So I will be hosting it here on Pat Bear while I am doing it, so you can watch here. It will be sometime that weekend. I have not said exactly when. I'm joining 20 other streamers. I think there will be 21 of us total. and all kinds of different model kit builders. So if you're looking to join up with some new people, to check out some new people, it's going to be a really fun weekend. We are raising money for the Cure Alzheimer Fund. And I'm very excited about that and having that be the charity of choice. So you can win stuff. There's going to be a lot of stuff. We're making announcements about it, and I'll be retweeting some of those announcements on my Twitter. But look for it. It's going to be fun. And now I'm going to talk about ways you can support the channel. You are under no obligation to do any of this stuff that I'm going to talk about. If you're watching this on YouTube, after the fact, what's up, YouTube? Happy to have you here. All the links I'm about to talk about are in the show description of this video. So, hi. If you're currently a subscriber, would you do me a favor and please put the Bear Cave, the Lego, and if you're a Tier 2 like Aristofan is, you can put the Scythe emote in the chat. Let the people know those are the emotes you get for subscribing. Subscribing for $5 a month using your Prime Gaming token or using Cash Money, hooking up a credit card or PayPal or something. You get emotes. You don't see ads on this site, and when you're coming in, and you also get these emotes, and that's it. It's an easy way to support me. You get recurring payments. When you're up for renewal or when you subscribe, it'll pop up as a notification. I'll hit the applause button, and I will thank you for doing it. You could be like Aristofan and gift a sub. Gifting a sub is another way to support the community because you're supporting somebody else. There's somebody in the community that you're like, they should have a month where they don't see ads. It also benefits me, and that's rad. So that is the thing you could do if you're so inclined. Also, bits and coins, always appreciated. We do have those leaderboards. You could join those leaderboards. I have a Patreon. I mentioned my $10 Patreon. So there's a $10 tier, and they get to vote on what I build. The $5 tier gets videos early. Every video that I put online, they get a day early or a night early sometimes. $3 tier, once a month, they get to vote on what I do on one of my Wednesday bonus streams. And $1 a month, they get the Q&A video that I make just for patrons. So that's the rewards for that. You can check that out, patreon.com/PatBear. No one has taken me up on this, but I do offer memberships on my YouTube. That's right. You can subscribe for free at youtube.com/PatBear, but you could also join at youtube.com/PatBear, and you get one video a week, a day early. So my Wednesday videos I put out, you get to see that on Tuesday. I link you to the unlisted video on Tuesday with the understanding that, hey, it's not much, but it's something. And that's $2 a month. And you also get like an icon next to your name. So any comments you leave, people will know you're a member, which is nice. But that is another way to do that and to support what I do. Because everything I make through YouTube, through Twitch, through Patreon goes into buying model kits and building model kits on stream. And also buying games. Like when I buy Jackbox, the new Jackbox, there'll be another one this fall. When I buy that, that comes out of the fund from people. So because I'll play that once a month for a couple months and play it with you in the community. Also, direct donations. That just goes into a fund I use to buy stuff. If you just want to do a one-time donation, if you use Streamlabs, it'll pop up here, and I'll say thank you. The coffee and PayPal are anonymous. And again, you're under no obligation to do those things, but if that's something you'd like to do, you're more than welcome to help me out that way. A free thing you could do is you could join my Discord if you were like, Pat, I want a free option. Also, why aren't you building model kits right now? I'll get back to building a model kit in a moment, but I do want to promote my Discord, which is free. If you were like, Pat, I know you have a bunch of stuff that you have lined up to build, but you should stop building those things and instead build something that I want you to build. Well, you could put your money where your mouth is and buy something off my Amazon wish list. I'll shoot a video about it. It'll jump the queue, and I'll build it before I build the other cool stuff I've got. I got a couple high grades. I've got a master grade from 2006 in there. But instead, I'll build a Lego set off my wish list, or a Pokemon model kit, or another Haro. Or I got a bunch of stuff in there. High grades, master grades, real grades. There's a a Zoid in there that just doubled in price, so don't buy that right now. Hopefully it'll drop again. There's also a couple pieces of equipment at the bottom. You can pick those up. And yeah, they'll jump the queue. I build them ahead of time, and I'll give you a shout out about them. Alternatively, you could buy a gift card to USA Gundam Store if you were so interested in doing that. That is another way to support what I do, is buy a gift card and then send me a DM with that code, and then I will buy something off USA Gundam Store. Let's see. Okay. A couple video recommendations, and then we'll get back to building. Pat Bear's Anime Club is my every other Monday I put out a video. This week, this past Monday, I put out a new video talking about shows that I would like to see there another season of. Devil is a part-timer, after 8 years, is getting a second season, and that got me thinking about what other shows I would like to see more of. And a few obvious ones and a few maybe not so obvious ones. So you can check that out. Bear with me. I was talking about working in the theater tonight, but also I miss building rigs and props for things, and so I react to a video of someone working on a prop. This is a Hollywood prop producer, and I was very excited. I was just happy to watch that video. It was just cool to check that out. And blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's it. I'm going to drink a little more water. We're going to get back to building. Thanks, everybody. I know if you're new here, that's weird, my ad reads. And if you're not new here, you have heard all of this before. All right. And I'll drink a little water. And then Dirty says, as I drink this water, Pat, can I interest you in Isekai Tensei Sudoku? It's an isekai about two souls, a warring states warlord, and a high school otaku that reincarnated into the body of a sick child. Antics and hijinks ensued from there. Well, I haven't heard of that, and along with some of the manga that I've been talked about, I will already by Lashbrook, I will take that under advisement. I appreciate you mentioning it. No necessarily like I'm definitely going to read that or check that out immediately, but thank you for the suggestion. I always appreciate when people suggest stuff. All right, let's get back to building. We're working on the rest of these feet, and I'm going to talk about some anime that came out in the past couple days. But yeah, thank you for the suggestion. Oh, I don't know why pervy went there. And then Journey says, fair warning, it has some pervy moments, which, I mean, when you say high school otaku, I immediately think, yeah, it's probably going to have some pervy moments. I mean, but thank you for letting me know. Come on. Sorry, I got to move a thing around here so that I can read my notes while also keeping an eye on what you said. But yeah, thank you for letting me know about that. All right, so I'm going to continue to build this, working on the feet here, while I talk to you about So I'm a Spider, So What? Y'all, so the big revelation that we had, which I could have guessed, but I was wondering what was going to happen with it, was, okay, Harold says you have a new member on YouTube. Harold. That's awesome. Thank you very much, Harold. I'm going to do the old applause there. That's rad. We'll hit the applause there. Thank you, Harold. Okay, so the big revelation of So Spider So What is basically it's an isekai. A bunch of kids get sent to another world and reincarnated. Most of them are humans. They're just doing their human stuff. They got magic powers. Some of them are freaked out. Some of them are clearly having some mental issues with it. Some of them are striving to make the best of the world. Some of them are striving to take advantage of the world. Some of them we haven't seen yet because they were reincarnated in weird ways or in places, and they've had it rough. One of them got reincarnated as a spider. And most of the series is her trying to survive in a labyrinth dungeon as a spider and doing her spider shit. Now, because she has the soul or brain of a human, she's adapted pretty well to it. And she's also, at this point, because she hit level 10 in Taboo, she now has taboo knowledge of the world. And so a bunch of stuff as she evolves flashes before her eyes, and we're able to see. And I had to slow this stuff down. Basically, at some point in this world, humans discovered something called MA energy, which I guess is probably mana. Uh, and it threw the world into chaos and hurt the world. And then the dragons got mad and hurt humanity. Uh, I'm still one episode behind where the time skip was actually revealed. I mean, it's pretty cool. The fight with the old man that gets introduced uh, really does set up what's going on. That revelation's pretty big. But anyway, the dragons got mad, and then the world was going to end, and then somebody sacrificed themselves to revive the world, and that started the system, and that started the admins. But also, I guess the world is gonna still end. So the spider is like, I guess I need to save the world? I guess? That's a lot. I'm a spider. Yeah, which is a lot. And then in the future timeline, it's been a month since Shun left school. And then she ends up forming he ends up forming a partnership with Faye, who is an isekai kid that is a dragon. And they form like I forget what it's called. Forge a pact. And then that causes she's going to evolve. So I don't know what she's going to turn into. She's already really strong, but she's going to evolve. So that could be interesting. We don't know what that's going to be yet, but she's going to evolve. So she's back to being an egg. But yes. Let's see. Okay, so our spider, who to me, here's the thing. I watch this, and when they start dealing with Shun, who is the main character of another isekai, he's basically an isekai that doesn't exist. He's the main character of. He's the focus of another isekai. But because this is Soma Spider, so what? I don't give a shit about him. I never have. I don't think I ever will. Maybe I will someday, but right now I do not give a shit. So we flash back in time to our spider, who she's like, okay, well, if I could save the world, here's the thing. I can't save the world if I can't beat this giant earth dragon that decided I wasn't a threat a long time ago. Could have easily killed me, definitely could see me, but didn't decide I was a threat, which is Araba, the earth dragon. And she's like, I definitely don't think I can beat him, but I can set up a scenario where I can use magics and level up some of my abilities, and then also set up the environment in a way that maybe I could actually beat this dragon. I should also mention right now that the dragon is fully computer generated, and I think it looks terrible. I think the dragon looks really shitty. Most of the time, when they do monsters, the monster is CG until they have to interact with something, and then they are digitally drawn like other characters. So far, this dragon is always CGI, and it always looks bad, and I dislike looking at it, and I can't wait for her to... I'm bummed that most of this next episode, I bet, is her fighting this dragon, because I don't like looking at it. So that's just me. That's my opinion on it. Okay, so we know that a demon in the future timeline, that some sort of demon or monster, we know that at that point, our spider is really strong and really powerful. We know that. In its future timeline. But we don't know who killed the main character, Shun, the main human character. We don't know who killed his brother, the world's hero. But a dude shows up, Hirons. He survived because he had a feather that only, like a phoenix feather that only works once per person to revive them. So he managed to survive the encounter with, this lady shows up, and she dressed in white with pale skin, and she doesn't say anything, but she uses rod attack and apparently just destroys everybody. Now, do I think that that is our spider, and that in the future our spider has a humanoid form. Yes, I fully think that's our spider in the future, because 15 years ago she was already strong enough to fight to almost murder the strongest human mage in the world. I do think that 15 years later she has evolved into some sort of humanoid looking demon form, and that she's part of the demon army, because that makes sense, because I get the feeling that when in the eyes of her eyes, when we're watching her, she's cute and adorable and just trying to survive. But to other people, she's just a complete monster, which is interesting, and it makes this show way more interesting than I would have originally thought. Um, it's definitely like way more interesting than I would have given it credit for. It's not the show I thought it was going to be, and I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I believe that I was promised, uh, like, what happens if you're reincarnated as, like, the weakest monster in a dungeon? And instead, I'm getting some of that, but I'm also getting a whole group isekai about a bunch of high school kids reincarnated in this world where it's not great. And also, it seems very clear from what the administrator, who calls herself an evil god, and the other administrator, I get the distinct impression that they were not brought to this world to save it. They were brought to this world as entertainment for the administrators, which is interesting. I've been going through the manga, but it seems to be more focused on the spider. It's pretty far behind the light novels, I think. So, Ghost, as far as I can tell, the anime made a choice to up until only a couple episodes ago, and this is going to be a double length, okay? So up until almost a couple episodes ago, it the show made it seem like the events that were happening to humans were happening at the same time as what were happening to the spider, and then it has been revealed that that is not the case. That all of them were reincarnated at the same time, and while those kids were growing up to the age they are now, at age around 15, the spider was just born as a spider. So she didn't like have like an age where she was 3, but it was definitely set up. The show was set up to make you think that the events that were happening to the spider, because there's a period where like a dragon shows up after she saw a dragon, and you're like, oh, that must have happened right after that. It didn't. It happened 15 years later. Uh, so the anime made the choice to make these events parallel instead of, which seems like what the light novel and I believe the manga did, is um, start with the spider and just watch the spider grow and change and do all this stuff, and then later you realize, oh, this character was this, oh, this character was that. The dragon egg the spider saw when they burned her first house down, and they took the spider egg, or not the dragon egg, that's this thing. Oh, this is this thing. Um, and you start piecing things together. Instead, they put a lot of information about what was going on in the world, like the teacher who was reincarnated as the elf who has knowledge of the world, stuff like that. Like, there's a lot happening, uh, and I don't know if I like the choice. It's the same thing. I didn't enjoy that in Era Fuerte when they would cut to the other people, because I don't care about those people. But I also definitely don't think I would have liked reading chapter after chapter after chapter about these characters, about the spider, and then stop and then be like, okay, well, now to tell you about what was happening with the humans. Remember how you liked this one girl and this one spider and all her stuff? Well, let's pause that to go talk to about. Let's spend a lot of time talking about the struggles of Shun and Hugo. Uh, so instead, they just do it at the same time, and that might actually, I don't know if it works better. but it does mean that you never spend like it's rare to have a whole episode dedicated to the spider. So I kind of like that. Um, I don't know if I really like it because I haven't read the light novels or the manga, but uh, I I do like that it never feels stale. I haven't spent any time with this going, oh, I don't want to read this next part. Oh, I don't care what this next part is. Like I haven't had that. So that's been nice. I pulled the wrong piece out. I need 6 and I pulled out 5. Um so anyway, that's So I'm a Spider, so what? It is not the light kind of goofy. It's not a postmodern isekai. It is a modern isekai. It just so happens that the main character is a spider, but all of the rest of it is like a normal isekai. Uh, in a similar way to that time I got reincarnated as a slime is just a modern isekai. The first season happens to be a postmodern, and then it evolves into just a modern isekai, which is I don't know if it's good or bad, but it just is. Like, if you watch the first season of that time I got reincarnated as slime, and you wish that Rimuru kicked a hell of a lot more ass than he did in that, and then all their monsters just got to go and murder a bunch of people, well then season 2 is for you because they have fucking gotten there. They're going for it. It's becoming a fucking thing. Um, and then, so this is a weird thing that's happening. Okay, Jujutsu Kaisen had its first arc. Basically, we are on the 4th arc for Jujutsu Kaisen, a show that has 22. I think it's going to be 24 episodes this season because it's double length. Because there's the introductory arc, then there's kind of a continuation of the arc. So maybe that's not its own thing, but whatever. Maybe it is what it isn't. Um, with they introduce a new character, they further plot all that. Then there's the tournament arc, which is unique but still a tournament arc, um, and that happens. And then now we're in the cursed paintings arc. And now I don't know if this is going to go into the next season or if it's just a short arc and it's only going to be like 4 episodes. But um, uh, we learned a few things in this episode. Mostly, this episode focuses on Megumi, which is great. Megumi, because Megumi is Megumi, I should say. There we go. It's 3rd time's the charm. Who is an interesting character that we're learning more about. We learned about his past, about his stepsister, she has been cursed by multiple curses apparently, but she is currently in a coma, and that kind of strengthened why he became a sorcerer. Uh, and about how his parents, his father and stepmother fled, and so they are not in the picture. Uh, yeah, and just kind of like some character development happened there. Also, some character development in that he got a domain that he is starting to do, and he's acting like kind of like crazy or feral or free, depending on your perspective. So it was kind of interesting to see him in a different light. That character just act differently. That was pretty neat. Uh, and yeah, he kills the reason they were there, the curse that was there, because that curse has one of the fingers. That's right, one of the fingers they need to collect. Also, Megumi is definitely like out for the count by the end of it. He is definitely beat up and in a bad spot. Um, so that's not good. But hopefully everything is okay. Also, there's the creepy painting brother. Well, his other brother showed up, and he kind of looks human. And you're like, oh, this guy looks kind of human as a curse. Like, he looks different than the other guy. And then it's revealed that he looks human, but on his back is a giant mouth. And he apparently does not like people seeing that he has a giant mouth coming out of his back. So Yuji and it definitely looks like that guy got hurt. but we'll see what happens. But yeah, basically, Nobara and Yuji are going to have to face these two curses. Uh, and I don't know if the arc is going to end in this next episode or if it's going to carry on. It was good. I mean, it was good for Megumi to give some backstory. Also, how he came to meet Gojo. Uh, and yeah, basically, we'll see what happens in this episode or in the next episode. But it was a pretty good, pretty solid episode of Jujutsu Kaisen. Um, we'll see if Nobara gets to do cool shit or not, because I feel like her introduction was kind of like really abridged, and I've come to like her more. Her kind of friendship, mentorship, or menteeship with Maki has helped me like her a lot. But I would like to get more about. I would like to learn more about this character. That's the goal. Oh, Juan Brave is raiding with a party of 13. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. Hope you're all doing well. This is a hello. We're getting some follows. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Hope everyone's having a good night tonight. Yeah, welcome. I'm working on a model kit. This is the Windam. It is the mobile suit, the mass production mobile suit from Gundam Seed. I know it looks like a Gundam, but I assure you, this is not a Gundam. But yes, welcome. I hope you're all doing well. We were talking about some anime stuff. I'll just say this, folks. If you've got Crunchyroll, because you can watch it for free a week later. Look, if you're looking for a cute little show, With a Dog and a Cat Every Day is Fun is the name of a very cute show that I like very much. It's short. It's little mini episodes, and it is very cute. I mean, it's called With a Dog and a Cat Every Day is Fun. It's about a lady who has a dog and a cat, and the differences between the dog and the cat. And it's very cute, and I recommend it. I should also say, I have not talked about this yet, folks. There exists the possibility that folks watching right now, either, probably not because of the Raiders, hello, but people who are watching here for the first time from other means may have come because I had a viral tweet that didn't make me sad. That wasn't like a call out post, which is great. I had a viral tweet about Bandai is making the Millennium Puzzle from Yu-Gi-Oh! They're making the ancient puzzle that unsealed the soul of Yami Yugi, Atem. And they're making it. Now, I misspoke a little bit when I tweeted about this. Because I said, they're making the Millennium Puzzle, and it doesn't come with instructions. And that's mostly true. One, they are making it. And two, better you than me, Slashbrook, I would have probably just deactivated my account. I mean, I muted it eventually. Eventually, I had to mute it because, and I'll get into that. Eventually, I had to mute it because everyone was, either people were just replying want, they were tagging people, which is I think, very cool, or they were making some sort of reference to the Shadow Realm or like being possessed by an Egyptian pharaoh. And I get all of the, like, at a certain point, I was just like, I'm just done with those jokes. But the thing I should say about it is going to be the one, it's the puzzle. There are instructions on how to assemble the pieces, because it'll be a tray, just like this, that you pull out and you're going to assemble into different gold pieces. But they aren't going to include instructions on how to solve the puzzle and put the pyramid shape together, thus completing the puzzle. And that rules. The fact that they get that, because it's a model kit. You should have instructions for a model kit. But they're just like, no, if you want to put this puzzle together, you got to do it. It'll be somewhere in the range of $30. It'll be coming out in August in Japan. Is it coming out in the United States? I do not know. Is it coming out internationally? I do not know. Is it going to be available on any website? I do not know. Do I want it? Of course I do. Will I build it on stream? Yes. Will I take back my no puzzles rule? Yes. And I will attempt to complete it. Because it's such a good idea that I have to do it at some point. Now, uh, jumping back, looking at this, my favorite model kit is the Sazabi Verka. My second favorite is the Windam. Well, great. We're working on your second favorite. Um, the Sazabi Real Grade is probably also my favorite kit that I've ever built. Because I got the clear one. I got the ruby red clear one, so it had clear red pieces, and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. That real grade is by far the best thing I've ever built. Um, I mean, I have a soft spot for all death sites. We like death sites here. I love building death sites on the stream. Um, so I have a soft spot for every death site that I've ever built. In fact, there's another one coming. Is some instructions confirmed? It doesn't seem like there are any piece numbers or the number of promo pick. So two. I feel like that's a rendering. That's all fake. Like all those promo photos aren't real. So, from what I've gathered, because I don't read Japanese, this is from translations from various sites they're covering it. That there will be assembly of the components to make the pieces, because it won't just be like, it's not just here are a bunch of plastic pieces put together. You still have to like in the same way we assembled this foot out of 4 pieces, you would still assemble one of the puzzle pieces like that. To solve the puzzle, I guess they're not going to do it, but there will be instructions of how to like get that. And I think the numbers are going to show up on that. They just didn't render those numbers in the promo images that they created. But that's going to be my guess, that there'll be some instructions of how to like make those pieces, just not how to then combine all those pieces together. That's my guess. Again, I'm just making assumptions based on what I've read and all of that. But it is exciting. It's a great idea. I love it. I love that that's a thing that people I know who aren't super into model kit building got really excited about. I love that. In the same way that I had a lot of people going, hey, are you going to get this cup noodle model kit? That seems really fun. And it was. That cup noodle kit is very fun. I love that. I love the idea that there will be people who are like, yeah, I don't really do model kits, but like, I want to build this. Like, I think that's awesome. I hope that people give it a shot. I hope that people watch streamers put it together. And then I hope that people maybe give the hobby a chance, find something else. I'm always excited when people ask me about, like, where do I start with model kit building? And, like, or I really loved this. Hey, do they make models for this thing? I saw that you built model kits of Dragon Ball characters. Are those hard to do? Like, I love that when people reach out because they've seen me do this and then they're like, I have questions. I should also point out that other than the head, we didn't do any stickers on the chest or the arms or anything so far. I'm gonna guess that most of these stickers are gonna be the backpack and the shield and the weapons. I'm feeling like, because right now, yeah, there's nothing on the legs. Maybe there'll be some on the waist, maybe, but it feels like there's still plenty of stickers left in this kit. But I feel like they're going to be, yeah, they're coming up. I know there's at least one sticker on the shield, which is annoying. I'm excited for the next Ultimate Gear Kits 2. The line concept is great. Yes, I agree. Like, the belts, Kamen Rider belts are a thing that exists. I would love to see model kits of that, even if they're small replicas, but bigger than that. I think that, like, the world of kind of novelty model kits for things, they weren't the most incredible kits I've ever built, but I had fun building the. All right, we need B19 here. I gotta make sure I pulled the right piece out. This is C. I need C2. Great. Um, I had a lot of fun putting together the PlayStation and the Sega Saturn model kits from the Best Hit collection. That was fun. I thought that was a neat idea. I'm certainly interested in trying that stuff out. I don't know. I think there's I think there are two more hit collections that are hopefully coming out at some point, and I'll build those because yeah, I don't know. I'm super interested to the idea of mixing it up. Also, I've been doing this for a really long time now. I'll be hitting 4 years of model kit streaming this year. This summer, I will hit that 4 year anniversary. Um, and I'm not tired of it, but like when I get to do something different and interesting, like I'm psyched about it. Like, look, I'll build Gundams all the time. I'll build high grades and real grades and master grades, but like the Calamity Master Grade is the new full mechanics line. What is that? It's a different full mechanics from the Iron Blood Orphan full mechanics. I don't know what that means yet, but I'm excited to get that kit and find out what the new full mechanics line is. I was really psyched to try out entry grade kits. Even if I didn't necessarily love the entry grades that I've built outside of the RX-782, the original Gundam, which is by far the best one, like, so far, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty psyched about trying out these new styles, like new kits. I do want to do one of those Zoids because I built Zoids when I was first starting out doing model kits a long, long time ago, when the original two shows came out. So I'm like, oh, I'd like to go back and build those just to mix things up, try something different. Because yeah, I've just like been doing this a lot. Like do I want to build the double rebake Astray, I should say? Sure, I do. I want to build that. That's a high grade. That's it's the Astray, but like different because it's from a Build Divers show. I still want to put that together. I probably am not as excited about that as I'm excited about like something a little weirder or a little different. Um, but also at some point when it comes out, because I pre-ordered it, I'm gonna build that incredibly beautiful Crossbone version 2 Verka, or X2. I'm going to build that beautiful dark blue and purple Crossbone Gundam. I'm going to build my purple pirate friend. Like, I can't wait to build that. That's a gorgeous looking kit. Uh, it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's a Crossbone, but like, it's a gorgeous Crossbone. And so, yeah, certainly excited to put that together. At some point, I'll put together I'll get the Extreme. There's an Extreme Gundam that is just like all kinds of beautiful yellow and orange and like just a nonsense explosion with like giant shoulder rockets. And I was just like, yep, I'm getting that. I'm going to build that, and that's going to be great. I don't know. Uh, I'm happy that I'm still excited about doing this because I did have a fear um, that I would eventually get bored with it, and I haven't gotten bored with model kit building. It helps that I have found new things to do, like folks new to the channel. I didn't always line paint using markers. I didn't always do this. This is kind of a new development for me. This is still really new. But this has been really fun to do. I've really enjoyed doing panel lining. It's really changed. It hasn't changed anything, but it's just added to my enjoyment of model kit building because it is just like a fun addition to it. So that's why I'm doing this right now. Is because I'm going to put the feet on. So I'm going to do most of the leg here. We do have one more piece to put on, so I'll just. But I'm about to put the feet on there, so I just want to do this because it'll be easier to do it now. And yes, I still just do the quick and dirty panel lining method. I don't go too deep into it, but this is at a new layer. Doing other kits, finding new ways to build and to share that. I went through a phase of like constantly trying to improve my streaming setup, and I'm pretty happy with my streaming setup right now. But when I move again, I will spend more time on this part of it too. Of like, okay, like I'm gonna move, and then I'm gonna find a new way to do this part, and like figure out a new way to increase, like, I don't know, the brightness in the room and the detail of what I'm building so you can see better and all that. Like invest in better cameras, invest in better headset microphone, that kind of stuff. Oops. Well, we're running into our first, like, this is annoying. Just getting this ankle armor on here. Alright, that went on. I feel like this is going to pop off at some point. I'm just gonna lose the thing at some point. It'll fall off and I gotta put it back on. That's my guess. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, this thing doesn't have a transformation, so that makes life a lot easier when you don't have to worry about transformations. Because then you're just posing it. B11 and C8. But yeah, for folks that have joined me tonight that came in from the raid or came in because they followed me on Twitter because of that tweet going viral ish, welcome. I hope you hit follow. We had a few people hitting follow, which I really appreciate that tonight. But yeah, hit the follow button. I do model kit building on Monday, Thursday, and Saturday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. So yeah, I do 2-hour build streams, so we'll be wrapping up in 10 minutes or so. We're gonna raid. We always raid at the end of our stream so that we can share the love with somebody. I don't typically raid other model kit builders. Just the people I'm really close to on the internet that I know have great communities and do great stuff, like are all kinds of different variety streamers. So my goal mostly is like we're gonna go raid somebody that I know personally who I'm excited to go see what they're doing. Like it's we always raid somebody that I want to watch for the next like hour while I'm coming down from streaming and uploading the archive and and doing whatever. Like I always want to go and see. I want to go raid somebody that I want to go see. That is my general philosophy. That is like a nice community and it will be fun. Because it's great when we get raiders. So that'll be happening in a little bit. But yeah, on Monday we'll continue this kit. We'll probably finish it because on Monday we have to do the leg and then we got to do the armor and shield, like the shield I should say, and then the backpack and the waist. But who knows? Maybe we won't finish it, but we'll get pretty far on Monday. And we already know what our next build is. We're gonna work on a Haropla, make our sword friend, so that'll be good. And let's do that there. Alright, we got our panel line just about done. We'll hit that with the eraser to cover up all of our extra marks. And then we'll hit this here with a little bit of black, because that'll just spruce that up. But yeah, I'm using gray for all the white because I really like how that looks. Using black for the gray parts and the blue and a tiny bit of green. Doesn't really need any panel lining. And my method is the quick and dirty method of just hitting it with some inks into the crevices and then hitting the eraser to get rid of any of the excess stuff. Occasionally, I got to redo it if I really take off too much. But for the most part, it gets the job done and doesn't take too long because we are streaming. Great. So that's a leg. Got a leg done. We made some good progress tonight. I'll get started. I'll do a little bit more of this, but most of this next leg will get built on Monday. And that's fine. And again, one more time as I get these pieces together, I will talk to you about the Plastic Model Weekender, which I'm taking part of. It is April 16th through the 18th, 2021, so this year. at twitch.tv/PlamoWeekender. I will be joining, I believe, 20 other model kit builders, and I'm very excited to hang out. We're all going to be working on different things. I mean, some people will be joining via audio with each other and hanging out. There'll be prizes to give away. It all benefits the Cure Alzheimer Fund, and which is works to cure Alzheimer. And so we will be giving away prizes and raising money on that. And like I said, you can check out Plamo Weekender on Twitch, and that will be then. And I have not been able to say yet. I will say at some point when during that weekend I will be streaming, but details forthcoming. I'll be able to announce that soon. That's going to be a good stream. I found a kit that I wanted to build for it out of my backlog that I'm very excited to build because I should be. As long as I don't mess around with panel lining and just focus on the building, I will complete that during the 3-hour stream I'll be doing for that show. Normally I do 2 hours, but got a 3-hour block. It will not conflict with any of my streams, so you could probably guess that it'll be a Friday or Sunday. But yeah, that'll be really fun. So I'm just going to be promoting that up until the event, pretty much. It's something that I would like people to be able to come and check out. All right, so let's see. We'll get that done. We'll get a little bit more done here, and then we will panel line it. I am absolutely loving these clippers. These God Hand are fantastic. I'm already feeling very comfortable using them, considering this is my first day working with these clippers. And yeah, I'm really liking the results. Do I have to do 2 snips instead of 1 snip? Yes. Is that annoying? So far, no. Maybe eventually it will be, but right now, that is just fine. I'm totally okay with doing the 2 snip method because I think it looks really good. And okay, occasionally I do look at stuff and I'm like, ooh, I would like to clean that up. I'm going to separate these pieces. I'm going to get my file out and take care of it. But for the most part, I'm not super worried about that. All right, we'll just panel line this real quick, and then we'll go find a cool stream to raid and share the love out there on the internet. Find a cool streamer doing something cool on a Saturday evening. As I said, most likely not a build streamer, but at least somebody with a cool community who does interesting, fun things, because that is what I'm about. And as I said, I always love finding, going and raiding a stream that I'm going to watch too. I might just be a lurker in chat, but I always hang out when I go raid. All right. So that's going to do it. I'll gotta take a photo of that later, but I'll go back to this. Some links to check out as always, and hit this, and I'm gonna go find us a cool stream to go raid. Of course, thank you for everybody that chose to come here. If this is your first stream, please give a follow. My next stream will be on Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, because I'm here on the East Coast of the United States, so that's when I build. I wonder how. Let's see what's going on. We're gonna go raid Liz. We're gonna go raid Liz Star. Liz rules. I don't know how long she's streaming for, but she's completely fantastic. So we're gonna go give her a raid. She plays a lot of retro stuff. She's a great person. Hey Pat, I just lurked tonight, but wanted to say this kit is coming together real nice. I love the color scheme on it. It's a pretty one. You are totally right, Bobby. Thanks for hanging out. No problem on the lurking. That's totally cool. You're not the first. We'll be the last, but that's totally all right. Sometimes people are just like, I just want to watch and hang out. But yeah, I really like these colors a lot. I think the teal is definitely not used enough. But yeah, we're going to go raid Liz because Liz is absolutely fabulous. She's a speedrunner and a retro speedrunner. And just has a fantastic community. So feel free to come along in this raid. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Again, I'll see you on Monday. I hope you can join me as we continue working on the Windam. And thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for spending some of your Saturday or whatever time of day it is and day of the week it is for you. And I'll see you in the next Build with Baer. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.